And Mrs. Bartley is very clever, she told them. She makes beautiful things. You must go down to the shop and see them. Buy something for your new home. You make things, said Angela, through a mouthful of shortbread. What sort of things? Miss Bartlett made a little gesture of dismissal with her hand. Oh, not very much really, nothing at all exciting, just a few little. I am sure you wouldn't. She let her voice trail off, but it was Miss Roscommon and not the Miss Angela who took her up on it. Burada da böyle daha mütevazi bir davranış içine giriyor. Öylesine böylesine pek bir şey değil diyor. Ama öbür taraftan kendisine her zaman destek çıkan Bayan Roscommon ise Angela'ya bir şeyler görmesini tavsiye ediyor. Now that is just nonsense, she said firmly. There is no virtue in this false modesty. I have told you before. Of course, Angela will like your things. Why should she not? Plenty of visitors do. There is nothing to be ashamed of in having a talent. I wore a hand-embroidered dress, said the niece Angela, for my wedding. Miss Bartlett watched her and watched the new husband, whose eyes followed Angela's slim hand as it moved over to the cake plate and back, and up into her mouth. Their eyes met and shone with secrets across the table. Miss Bartlett's stomach moved a little with fear and excitement. She felt herself to be within touching distance of some very important piece of knowledge. Do you help with this shop then? Asked the husband, though without interest. Oh no, well, here and there with the accounts and so forth, because Mary doesn't understand any of that. She is such a dreamer. No, no, that's not my job. That is not what keeps me so busy. My job is to look after Mary, of course. I took that upon myself quite some time ago when I saw that I was needed. She is such a silly girl. She lives in a world of her own. And if I were not here to worry about her meals and her comforts, she would starve. I assure you, simply starve. Oh, I don't think I really. Of course you will, said Miss Roscommon. Now let me have your cup to be filled. The young couple exchanged another glance of comprehension and amusement. Burada da exchange çok kullanılan bir ifade biliyorsunuz. Yani birbirinize böyle karşılıklı bir bakışma olduğu zaman taraflar arası anlamında diyebiliriz. Exchange'i kullanın. How dare you, thought Miss Bartlett, almost in tears with anger and frustration at being so looked upon, tepeden bakma, and judged and misunderstood. What do you know it? How can you sit there so smugly? It is because you are young and know nothing. It is all very well for you. Yani senin için her şey tuzun kuru deriz ya. All the same, said the niece Angela, sitting back in her chair. It's nice to be looked after, I must say. She smiled like a cat. Gene çok kullanılan bir ifadedir. Yes, that has always been my role in life. That's my talent, said Miss Roscommon. To do all the looking after. Burada da bir karakter olarak Miss Roscommon'un nasıl bir karakter içerisinde olduğunu anlıyoruz. İnsanlara böyle göz kulak olan, onlara dikkat eden, bakan anlamda. She's my responsibility now, you see, she told them confidently. My little pussycat. Benim minnacık kediciğim gibi görüyor bakın kadına. Miss Bartlett pushed the hand away and got to her feet. Bu da çok kullanılan bir ifade çocuklar. Get to her feet, ayağa kalkmak anlamında. Stand ve eş anlamlı. Her face flushed with shame and annoyance. Yüzü birdenbire kıpkırmızı kesiyor bakın utanmaktan dolayı. What a foolish thing to say. Of course I am not. How very silly you make me look. I am a grown woman. I am quite capable of looking after myself. Burada şimdi kendini müdafaa etme anlamında ifadeler var. Ben kendi kendime yeterim anlamında bir ifadeler var. Miss Roscommon, not in the least discomfited, only began to pour the tea dregs into a slop basin, smiling. When they were about to leave, Miss Bartlett said, I will walk down the hill with you, and we shall drop in for a minute at the shop. Yes, I insist, but not for you to buy anything. You must choose a wedding present from my stock. It is the very least I can do. For she wanted to keep them with her longer, to be seen walking in their company down the hill away from the bungalow, wanted to be on their side. You will need a warm coat. It's autumn now. The evenings are drawing in. Take your mohair. Mohair diyoruz ya Türkçe'de. Oh, leave me, do not fuss. Bu do not fuss tekili olarak kullanılıyor. Make a fuss. Yani sorun çıkarma, mesele çıkarma anlamında çok kullanılan bir ifade. And Miss Bartlett walked to the end of the gravelled drive, while the niece and her new husband made their goodbyes. I am afraid it is all she has to worry over nowadays, she said hastily, the moment they had joined her. It gives her pleasure, I suppose, to do all that clacking round, and I have not the heart to do anything but play along, keep up appearances. If it were not for me, she would be so lonely. Of course, I have had to give up a good deal of my own life on that account. The niece Angela took her husband's arm. It must be very nice and comfortable for you there, she said, all the same. Miss Bartlett turned her face away and looked out to sea. Another winter, she thought, and I am now 47 years old. You do not understand. She detained them in the shop for as long as possible. Alıkoymak anlamında düşünün bu detain'i. Fetching out several special items from the stockroom and taking time over the wrapping paper. Let me be with you, she wanted to say. Let me on your side. For do you not see that I still have many opportunities left? I am not an old woman. I know about the world and the ways of modern life. Take me with you. But when they had gone, she stood in the darkening shop and saw that they had already placed and dismissed her, that she didn't belong with them, and there was no hope left. She sat on the stool beside the till and wept, for the injustice of the world and the weakness of her own nature. Çok güzel ifadeler bakın. For the injustice of the world, dünyanın adaletsizliği, and the weakness of her own nature, kendi tabiatındaki, doğasındaki eziklik, zayıflık. I have become what I always dreaded. Becoming, she said, everything has slipped through my fingers. And for all of it, after a short time, she began to blame Miss Roscommon. She has stiffed me, she thought. She preys upon me. I am treated as her child, her toy, her pussycat. She has humiliated. Burada da pişman olma durumları ortaya çıkıyor bakınız. Bütün işlerini, her türlü şeylerini Bayan Miss Roscommon gördüğü için, yaptığı için, ona bir iş bırakmadığı için, onunla ilgilendiği için, yakın ilgilendiği için doğal olarak kendini suçlu buluyor Bayan e, Bartlett. And fed of my dependence and the fact that I have always been so sensitive. She is a wicked woman. And then she said, but I do not have to stay with her. Burada artık karar verme durumu ortaya çıkıyor. Fortified by the truth of this new realization, Miss Bartlett blew her nose and walked back up the hill to Tuscany. You cannot live, said Miss Roscommon. What nonsense! Of course you cannot. You have nowhere else to go, and besides, in 10 days' time, We set off for our holiday in Florence. You will set off. I am afraid my plans have now changed. Miss Bartlett could not now bear the thought of being seen with her friend in all the museums and art galleries of Florence, discussing the paintings in loud, knowledgeable voices and eating wholemeal sandwiches out of neat little grease-proof bags, speaking very slowly to the Italians. This year Miss Roscommon must go alone. Demek ki daha önceden beraber gittikleri, seyahat ettikleri durumlar da söz konusu. Ama artık kadının Bayan Bartlett'ın karşı koyması var. She didn't allow herself to think of how or whether she would enjoy herself. Bakın düşüncelerine bile Bayan Roscommon karışıyor Bartlett'ın. We are always hearing on how intrepid she was as a girl, she thought. Then let her be intrepid again. Aloud she said, I am going back to live at the cottage. For she had kept it on and rented it to summer visitors. Miss Roscommon turned herself and her darling a little more towards the light. You are being very foolish, she said mildly, but I understand why. It is your age, of course. Appalled, Miss Bartlett went through to her room and began to throw things furiously, haphazardly, into a suitcase. I am my own mistress, she said, a grown-up woman with years ahead of me. It's time for me to be firm, to be clear. I have pandered to her long enough. Yeterince ona diyor, katlandım, dayandım diyor. The following day, watched by Miss Roscommon, she moved back down the hill to the cottage. She decided, stay there for a while, give herself time to get accustomed and to gather all of her things around her again, and then she would look out and make plans, take steps towards her new life. Artık yeni bir hayata başlamanın geldiği düşüncesi içerisinde dikkat ederseniz, pılısını pırtısını topluyor, her türlü şeyini alıp tekrar o cottage dediğimiz kulübesine dönüyor. That evening, hearing the wind around her own four walls, she said, I have escaped. Burada bir özgürlüğü hissetme durumu var. Though she woke in the night and was aware of being entirely alone in the cottage, or not being able to hear the loud breathing of Miss Roscommon in the room next door.